Hey, this is Ralph, and in this video we're going to prep what we need to for CIS 195 and complete our actually it'll be attendance activity 2. If you're in the CIS 195 class, make sure you stay till the end of the video because I'll have some specific directions for you. So first things first, we need to have a working space for our terms classwork. So I'm just going to create myself a new folder, CIS 195. I'm going to call mine Spring 21 because that's what I'm making this video for the Spring 21 folks. And let's see, so I've got that folder. However, and it's fine being on the desktop, or you want it to be someplace where you can easily access it multiple times. I think what I'm going to do is open up my Google Drive account. And let's see, I'll go to my COCC docs, to my class demo files, and I think I'm just going to stick this folder. I'm just going to right click and drag, stick that folder in there, move it here. So now my working folder, my 195 Spring 21 folder, is in my Google Drive. However, I do like being able to access it from the desktop. So I'm going to right click and drag back to my desktop, but this time I'm going to create a shortcut here. So I get that little shortcut icon. So close that. So this folder, this working folder, is actually in my Google Drive, but I have a shortcut on my desktop, so I can just double click it and I can be in that folder. Now once I'm in that folder, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create several new folders. And I'm going to create a folder called Images, all lowercase, no spaces, all lowercase, no spaces. Right click, new folder, Styles, all lowercase, no spaces. So the subfolders within our working folder are going to be all lowercase and no spaces. That's important. That's what I want you to do there. So ultimately our web page files are going to be going into this folder right here in this main body of this folder. Style files that we create later on, those are going to go into the styles folder. And any images we use, including any video files that we might use, those are going to get stored in our images folder. That's pretty good. Some students, and I'll remind you this later, some students are going to want to create a folder for every week of the term. Don't do that. It just adds more complexity to your life that you don't need. It is good to have some subfolders in your website structure, but let's not go crazy with it. It's okay that all of the web page files that we create are going to be all lumped into this main working folder. It's perfectly okay. And if we give our files good file names, we'll still be able to understand what they are and be organized and stuff like that. So let's not go crazy with folders, but I do want you to have an images subfolder and a style subfolder. Cool. I'm going to keep that open for a bit. Now jump out to the web and do a search for VS Code. Okay, so we want code.visualstudio.com. It's a Microsoft product, really highly regarded, very, very popular. In fact, we can go straight over to download. And obviously, if you're a Linux user, they've got options there. Most of us are probably Windows users. However, there's always a few Mac users in class. Perfectly okay. There's a Mac download. So go ahead and download Visual Studio Code. This is going to be our primary code editor for the CIS 195 class. We're going to use it a lot. You're going to use it multiple times per week. Frequently, you're going to get pretty darn good at it. Okay, so go ahead and download that. Now, I've already got it downloaded, so I'm going to go ahead and open up my installation. And let's see, I've already got a page open. Let me close that. So now I've got Visual Studio Code downloaded and it's installed on my computer. So let's see. Something I definitely want you to do, you can't see it quite yet, so let me head over to View, Appearance, and I want to show my activity bar. You probably already had that displayed, so this is a little activity bar. It's not going to have much import for what we're about to do. However, what I do want you to do is I want you to click on this little icon right here with the little cubes, and these are going to be extensions. Now I'm going to have a few more extensions on my end than you are on yours, and that's okay. You don't have to install everything on here. However, a couple things that I do think are pretty good. If you hunt around for the auto rename tag, I find that one to be very useful, although I think the feature is now built into VS Code, so you probably don't need that. But here's one I definitely want you to get, and that's going to be Live Server. So make a note of this. Live Server 561 Ritwick Day, R-I-T-W-I-C-K Day, D-E-Y. So live server Ritwik Day. I definitely want you to get that one. So how do you get this? Well, what we can do is we can search for extensions in the marketplace. So I could do a search for live server and just put in something like DEY. That'll probably find it. And here it goes. It's right up here at the top of the list. That's the one you want. Now mine is already installed, so I have a settings option. Yours is probably going to have the purple install option. Maybe it's a different color. So what I want you to do is install that extension. That's going to add a capability to your VS Code that's going to be super valuable. Great. Now once that is done, I can just head back over to my folder display. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on File, Open Folder. And I'm going to look for the folder that I just created. It's in my Google Drive. It may be on your desktop or some other place. So I'm going to go to my COCC docs in my Google Drive. I'm going to head over to my demo files folder. I'm going to go to my 195 Spring 21 folder. I can double click it there. Now I'm going to pause, and then I'm going to click Select Folder. Now what that's going to do, it's going to open up that folder within my VS Code. This is going to be my working space that I'm going to be doing this regularly. Now you may only be using this one folder throughout the term for VS Code, but if you're using VS Code for other purposes throughout the term, then you might be opening up your web dev working folder multiple times. But either way, that's pretty good. So now I can see that my folder is open. My 195 Spring 21 folder is there. I can see the 2 subfolders that I created. I don't have any files in it yet though. But that's a pretty good start. We've got our working space, which is going to be our main folder for the class with an images and style subfolder. And we have VS Code installed with the live server extension. So what we're going to do in the next video is we're going to create our initial web page stored in our folder, and we'll test out that live server extension to see how that works. Thanks for hanging out with me.